Lesson 1. My toe is killing me. Welcome to Lesson 1. My toe is killing me. In this lesson, you'll hear a conversation between Paul and his physician, Dr. Martinson. Paul has hurt his toe, and he's really in a lot of pain. Listen to the dialogue and see if you understand all of the idioms that are used from the context.
Sorry you waited so long, Paul. I've been tied up all afternoon. What seems to be the problem this time?
Doc, my toe's killing me. I think it's broken.
Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, that's a beauty. You really did a number on that toe. How'd it happen?
I was helping my brother move. I dropped a desk on my foot.
Well, that's a surefire way to break some bones. Paul, didn't I see you last year for some sprained fingers?
Yeah, I was trying to fix the toilet and got my hand stuck. I yanked it out and hurt myself. I'm still trying to live that one down.
Well, Mr. Fix-It, you've really outdone yourself this time. You won't be walking with this foot for 8 weeks.
That's impossible. I have a camping trip scheduled for 6 weeks from now. Can't it be healed by then?
Well, that's a tall order, Paul, but I suppose it's not out of the question. With a lot of rest now, and intensive physical therapy, you just may be back in the saddle again in 6 weeks. But the therapy requires a lot of work and time, and specifically following the doctor's orders. Can you handle that?
Piece of cake.
But listen, even if you are walking by then, you've got to take it easy during the trip. No climbing trees or jumping across streams or anything. You really need to baby this leg for a while.
Sure thing.
Well, Paul, let's get you bandaged up. We'll have you hobbling out of here in no time. Now, I want you to keep an eye on the swelling in the rest of the leg and foot, and get in touch with Dr. Phillips. She's the physical therapist.
Okay, Doc. Should I drop by here another day?
Yes, we're going to want to follow up on this in about 2 weeks.
I'll schedule an appointment with the receptionist. Thanks. Bye, Doc.
You're welcome. And Paul, take it easy, would you?
Yes, I will. I promise.
Lesson 2. Tying the knot. Welcome to Lesson 2. Tying the knot. In this lesson, you'll hear a conversation between Matt and Allison, a couple engaged to be married, and Mike, a friend of the groom's. Listen to Mike read the invitation to attend a party to celebrate the engagement, and see if you understand the new expressions from context.
What's this card? Join us. Matt and Allison are tying the knot. Take the plunge with them Saturday, June 22nd at their engagement beach party. There'll be no chance to get cold feet at this sizzling hot summer party. Takes place at Turtle Beach. This party is no stuffy ceremony, so join in if you want to see the couple let their hair down one last time before the walk down the aisle. RSVP by Friday, June 15th. It'll be a blast. Wow, Matt and Allison are getting married. Didn't see that coming.
Mike, you're here. So glad you could make it.
Wouldn't miss it for the world.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
Great. Congratulations, you two.
Thanks.
Looks like a good turnout.
Yeah, we're happy so many people could come.
So you two are finally gonna get hitched. Who popped the question? Was it you, Matt, or did you propose to him, Allison?
Now, I decided to be the romantic one. I took Allison to the park where we had our 5-year anniversary picnic and asked her there. She was in a bad mood that day. I almost lost my nerve. I thought she was going to turn me down.
He's right. I almost left him in the park. I had a terrible migraine, stress at work, and he'd been acting so strange, I guess getting ready for the big question.
Have you guys settled on a date yet?
We're close. Sometime next July. You'll be around, won't you?
You can count on it.
Oh, I just saw my aunt arrive. Sorry to bail on you, Mike, right when you get here.
No problem. We'll catch up later on.
Great. See you both in a bit.
Okay, can I ask you something direct?
It's not like you've ever been one to beat around the bush.
Fair enough. Give it to me straight. Did she bully you into this?
No. Seriously, I really want this.
I tell you, when I got the invite, it really threw me for a loop. You've done a complete 180. Just a couple of months ago, you were telling me how you kind of missed playing the field.
I know, but things have changed. I guess I've settled down.
I guess so. What happened?
Well, remember that car accident Allison had? When I found out, it was a real wake-up call. I remember thinking I didn't know how I would live without this woman. It hit me. She was the one for me. I decided I should either marry her or stop seeing her.
Wow.
Really, and since I've proposed, everything has been perfect. I feel like $1,000,000. It was the right decision.
I have to hand it to you. It seems like you're really getting your life on track. You're a lucky man. She's a great person. You deserve a great woman.
Thanks. I appreciate that. But come on, this is supposed to be fun. Let's grab a beer and join the party.
Great idea.
Lesson 3. That's a weight off my shoulders. Welcome to Lesson 3. That's a weight off my shoulders. In this lesson, you'll listen to Giovanni and Briona, a brother and sister, as they plan for their father's birthday and try to find the right gift for him. Listen to a piece of the dialogue and see if you understand the idioms used in this context. As always, we'll come back to them in just a bit.
Hello?
Hey, Giovanni, it's Bree.
Hey.
You know, Dad's birthday is coming up in 4 days.
Oh man, I almost forgot. It really sneaked up on me this year.
Yeah, I thought it might have slipped your mind. So, I was wondering, do you want to go in on a gift for him with me?
Yeah, sure. But I don't have a clue what we should get him.
Me neither. I was thinking we could go to the mall and look around. Maybe something will turn up.
When do you want to go?
Friday good?
Sounds like a plan. See you then.
What about a new grill?
Bree, I'm not a rich guy. I can't afford to break the bank with this gift.
Okay. How about a gift certificate to a bookstore? Dad loves to read. He's a real bookworm.
Yeah, we already thought of that. And Aunt Linda is on the case.
Fine. Neckties?
Can you get any more run-of-the-mill?
Well, what then? Every suggestion I make you tear to pieces. At least throw me a bone here. It's not helpful for you to just shoot down my ideas.
Well, I don't know what to get him either. What do you buy for the man who has everything?
Oh, you're a great help. Your optimism is beginning to get on my nerves. I'm beat. Maybe we should just call it a day.
No, wait. All right, Bree. You want my 2 cents?
Finally, yes. What do you think?
It's his 50th birthday, so we should get him something good.
Like?
I don't know. Something that really knocks his socks off.
Big help you are. You know, you could at least... Hey! That's it! Didn't Dad say he wanted to start exercising because he feels like he's not in shape?
Yeah?
Well, we could get him a pair of running shoes and a membership to a club.
That's not bad. But how much will I have to shell out?
Don't worry. Pay what you can, I'll pay the rest.
This is hands down the best idea I've heard all day.
What a weight off my shoulders.
Mine too. And since I inspired it, you should treat me to lunch.
Don't push your luck.
Lesson 4. I have a bone to pick with you. Welcome to Lesson 4. I have a bone to pick with you. In this lesson, you'll listen in on Andrew and Rob, two brothers who are driving together to a family reunion. In this dialogue, a simple conversation over directions turns into a major sibling argument.
Don't we get off here? At this exit?
Beats me. You said you had the directions covered.
Yep, but I'm also driving right now. Just look in the glove compartment. I think I put them in there.
They're not here.
They should be. Let me see. Oh man, I took them out to double check something and forgot to put them back in. It must have slipped my mind.
So we're lost? That's great.
It's no big deal. We can call or ask someone for directions.
This is typical. Why did you say you'd handle the directions if you weren't going to handle them?
Look who's talking. The only reason I said I'd handle them is because I knew you couldn't be counted on.
Me? You gotta be kidding. You're the one who doesn't give a damn about anyone around you.
All right, let's not fly off the handle here. We just need to get directions. There's no reason to make a mountain out of a molehill. What's the deal? Come on, if you have a bone to pick with me, don't beat around the bush. Let's get it out in the open before we get to Aunt Helen's place.
All right, fine. I think you've become a bit of a slacker lately.
You think I'm a slacker? That's a bit harsh. Why would you say something like that? What's eating you?
Well, for instance, last week you needed to borrow one of my shirts for work because you didn't bother to plan ahead and buy one yourself.
It's just a shirt. Are you really that bent out of shape over my borrowing a shirt? You need to lighten up a bit, Rob.
It's not just the shirt, Andrew. It's that you lean on everyone else and expect them to pick up your slack. You don't take responsibility. You're always passing the buck.
That's insane. I needed a shirt for a new job. If I were such a slacker, I wouldn't even have a job.
Okay, let's talk about the job then.
What about it?
Well, I got you that job. I hooked you up with a great job at a place where I've worked for 3 years.
And I've thanked you for it like 1,000 times.
Yeah, but what you do there reflects on me. If you screw up, it really gives me a bad name.
How am I screwing up? I work my tail off there.
Sometimes, yeah, but you also sit around twiddling your thumbs a lot, too.
Oh, that's bull.
No, it's true. And you also seem to find a lot of time to chat up the pretty girls who walk in instead of doing your job.
I'm a salesman. I'm supposed to talk with the customers.
But it's the same thing at home. You're still living with Mom and Dad, and you hardly ever lift a finger around the house to help out. You're 22 years old, and your room looks like a train wreck. You don't even pitch in with groceries.
That's not true at all. And how would you know? You're not even there.
I have eyes, Andrew. I can see. You still act like a child sometimes.
Oh, you need to get off your high horse, Rob. You're the one acting like a child. You're still trying to show everyone up like little Mr. Perfect. You were a goody-goody as a kid and you haven't changed since.
Hey, what do you know?
What?
While we were at each other's throats, you somehow managed to get us to Aunt Helen's.
Oh, yeah, that's her house there. Pretty good for such a slacker.
Just park the car and give it a rest for now.
Gladly. Just don't criticize my parking job.
Ugh, a ride home is gonna be long.
Lesson 5. Like pulling teeth. Welcome to Lesson 5. Like pulling teeth. This lesson begins with Selena complaining about mistaken bills and frustrating telephone calls with her credit card company. She is talking to her roommate Dario. Listen to their conversation and see if you understand all of the idioms that are used from their context.
What a pain in the neck. It's like pulling teeth trying to get anything done with them.
What? Who?
The credit card company sent another bill to my old address.
Not again.
This is the 3rd time. I thought we got things squared away after the last time I called. Now they're saying I have to cough up $150 in late fees.
You're gonna call and get that ironed out, right?
I don't know. I'm so tired of dealing with them. I think I might just bite the bullet and pay the late fee.
Don't do that. That's not right. Call again and insist on talking to someone who can get it off your record.
Dario, it's like flogging a dead horse. Every time I call, I get the same story. Address changed, everything should be fine. And if I ask to speak with a manager, I have to call back later because no one is there.
Sounds like they're giving you the runaround. Just cancel the card and refuse to pay.
Well, I will cancel the card, but if I don't pay, I'll have that on my credit record.
If I were in your shoes, I'd call right now.
Okay, fine. You'll see.
Hello, my name is Curtis. How can I help you today?
Hi, Curtis. I got a bill saying that I owe late fees, but the problem is that your company keeps sending statements to my old address, so the payment is already late by the time I get them, and...
Okay, let me just pull up your account. Just one moment. Okay, there we are. I see that your address is listed as 47 Maple Terrace.
Yeah, that's my new address, but the statements are still being sent to the old one.
Okay, let me just put through a change of address and we'll...
No, Curtis, I've been down that road before. A few times, in fact. I really just want to have these late fees taken care of. Obviously, I shouldn't have to pay them.
I understand, ma'am, but unfortunately, I don't call the shots in that area.
Okay, then I'd like to talk to someone who does.
All right, ma'am, if you'll just hold on...
Oh, Curtis, please don't put me on hold. I've been trying to take care of this problem for weeks now, and I'm really at my wit's end. I need to speak to someone right now.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but no one is available right now. If you'll just hold—
Curtis, look, I don't mean to get on your case personally, but I feel like I'm just spinning my wheels every time I talk to someone in customer service. I'm very dissatisfied and I'm very frustrated. I've got a good mind just to cancel my card.
I'm really sorry you feel that way, ma'am. You are a valued customer and—
Curtis, please don't feed me that line. If I'm such a valued customer, why can't anyone take care of my problem? It really is beyond me how your company can call me a valued customer but continue to—
Ma'am, I'm really sorry, but my hands are tied. If you'll just let me put you on hold or call back later, I'll be—
Call back later? Are you out of your mind? Wait. You know what? I'm not going to take out my frustration on you. I know it's not your fault that you just work there, but I've really had it with your company. I'd like to go ahead and cancel my card.
Okay, ma'am. I'm sorry to hear that, but I do understand. I'm going to transfer you to our cancellations department, so if you'll just hold on—
Oh, for crying out loud!
Lesson 6. Honey, there's something on my mind. Welcome to Lesson 6. Honey, there's something on my mind. In this lesson, you'll hear a conversation between Al and Beth, a couple who are talking about their relationship. Beth has something important to tell Al. Listen to the dialogue and see if you understand all of the idioms that are used.
Hi, sweetie. How are you? Don't you normally work on Fridays?
Yeah, but I had to talk to you. It couldn't wait.
Oh, sure. What's up?
Well, I need to get something off my chest.
That's good, because there's been something on my mind, too.
Let me go first. This is important.
Okay.
I'm sorry to spring this on you, but I think we should break up.
Wow. That's big news. Well, why do you want to dump me?
I suppose it would be fair of me to give you a reason.
Well, yeah. This comes out of nowhere. A reason would be nice.
I'm breaking up with you because you've become a real couch potato. All you do is watch TV, and the only thing you like to watch on TV is cartoons.
But I thought you were crazy about cartoons. Remember that time we saw the movie A Bug's Life? You were smiling during the whole thing, and you were in seventh heaven for the rest of the night. Didn't you enjoy it?
I thought it was cute, but then I moved on. You're still obsessed with cartoons.
Well, what else?
You've really let yourself go, too. We used to go biking and play tennis, and now you just sit around eating cereal watching your cartoons.
So, I don't turn you on anymore? Isn't it a bit shallow to break up with someone just over looks?
But that's not all. You never want to go out and do anything. We stay here all the time, and your apartment is a pigsty. You never do the dishes or the laundry. There are empty pizza boxes from 2 weeks ago on your kitchen table. It really drives me up the wall.
But we've been going out for 2 years now, and I've never exactly been tidy. Why didn't you bring this up sooner?
I thought it was cute at first. I thought I would get used to it. Later, I thought you would grow out of it. Anyway, that's not the point. I just don't want to see you anymore. So, you said you had something you wanted to tell me. I suppose how you hate that I try to control your life and change you.
No. Actually, I wanted to ask you if you knew where I left the remote control for the TV. I haven't been able to find it for weeks.
It figures.
Lesson 7. Now we're cooking. Welcome to Lesson 7. Now we're cooking. In this lesson, you'll listen to an episode of a television program called Now We're Cooking, which gives recipes and teaches its audience tips for making meals. Listen to this episode where Brian, the host, prepares a lasagna with a guest chef. See if you understand all of the idioms that are used from their context.
Welcome to Now We're Cooking. where eating gourmet doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg. Each week we break down culinary masterpieces from world-famous chefs and take you step by step from choosing the right ingredients to serving them up. Today we've got a lasagna by our guest chef Vincent Charbel that will knock your socks off. I mean, it's really out of this world. Chef Charbel is here with us to share his recipe and teach us a few tricks of the trade. Welcome, Chef Charbel. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
The lasagna we'll make today is your own recipe?
Yes?
And we'll make it all from scratch.
Certainly, and all with fresh ingredients. That's really the secret to top-notch cooking.
When did you first dream up this special lasagna?
About 8 years ago, I was eating at a friend's party and realized how lifeless most people's lasagna is. I wanted a lasagna with zip, something that would stick to the ribs but wouldn't weigh you down. So I went home that night and baked about 15 trays of it until I came upon this recipe.
Incredible! It took some time, but you really came up with something unique. Well, let's get started. As usual, here on Now We're Cooking, to prove that even amateurs can make meals to die for, we invite a member of our studio audience to lend a hand in the preparation of the dish. Today we have Beatrice from San Diego. Welcome, Beatrice.
Hello.
Are you ready?
I'm really a terrible cook.
That's why you're here, Beatrice, to show the world that you too can make exquisite food. Just give it your best shot.
Okay, I'll try it. I guess the proof is in the pudding, or at least the lasagna in this case.
That's right. Okay, let's take a short commercial break and then we'll pick up with our lasagna where we left off. Hello, welcome back to Now We're Cooking. During the commercial break, we mixed the cheeses and spices, boiled the noodles, and made a sauce from homegrown tomatoes. So now we're ready to put this baby together.
I think I overboiled the noodles.
No, Beatrice, you did fine. You caught them in the nick of time.
Well, that brings up a good point. For lasagnas or any pasta dish that will be baked or reheated later, you want to undercook the noodles. This prevents them from getting soggy when you recook them later.
Absolutely, Brian.
So, let's get to it.
You might notice that Beatrice has laid out the noodles flat while we were waiting to use them. This is so they don't dry in weird positions before we get a chance to put the lasagna together.
Great. Now, the rest of this is really a piece of cake.
You said it. We're just going to put down a layer of noodles, then sauce, then cheese, and keep on like that till we fill the tray. Here, Beatrice, you try.
Okay.
Now, to give this lasagna some kick, you want to lace the lasagna throughout with a grated cheese that has bite. Beatrice is using a nice, robust pecorino cheese. Looking good, Beatrice.
Thanks.
While Beatrice finishes up here, I'll show you a tray that I finished and baked ahead of time.
Let me help you. Can our cameras get a shot of that? Now that's a lasagna you can sink your teeth into. Thanks, Mr. Charbel. That's all for our show today. Folks, as always, don't forget what we always say here at Now We're Cooking. The devil's in the details, and the secret's in the sauce.
Lesson 8. Fits like a glove. Welcome to Lesson 8. Fits like a glove. In this lesson, you'll listen in on Orlando and his girlfriend Jade as they shop for new clothes for her. See if you understand all of the idioms that are used.
I'm so tired of shopping. Trying to find the perfect clothes for me out of the hundreds of things we've seen is like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Oh, don't exaggerate. We haven't seen that much. Hey, look. That place looks nice. Let's check it out.
I don't know. Those clothes in the window aren't exactly my cup of tea. Plus, it looks expensive. We'd probably have to pay through the nose for anything we find.
Did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed this morning or what? Don't be such a wet blanket. You're the one who's always complaining about your clothes being out of style. I let you drag me out shopping so you can keep up with the trends, so this is all for you, not for me.
Okay, you're right. We'll give it a try.
Hey, look at this blouse. Do you want to try it on?
Wow, it's a bit low cut, don't you think? and you can see right through it. Won't leave much to the imagination.
I don't know. I think it might be kind of hot.
Forget about it. I'm not wearing that in public. It would turn too many heads, and you know you're the jealous type.
Well, in private then.
Oh, just drop it.
Okay. What about these pants?
Those aren't bad. Wait, let me see the price. Right, just as I thought. Unless you want to cough up $150 for a pair of pants. I don't think so.
All right. How about these jeans? Nice cut, basic, they don't cost an arm and a leg.
Yeah, but they look like cheap knockoffs. If I'm going to wear bargain basement clothing, I want to be the only one who knows it.
Oh, come on, these look fine. And besides, why do you give a darn what other people think?
Didn't you always used to say that the clothes make the man?
Well, now I'm reformed. I just throw on whatever's clean and out the door I go.
Well, I like to make a nice impression, to come off as someone who cares about the way she looks.
Speaking of which, check out these pants. They're really great.
Yeah, but these pleats, all these pockets, they're a bit busy.
I think they're unusual, really one of a kind. Why don't you just try them on? You might like them.
Oh, all right. Hand them over. I'll try them on.
Well, let's have a look. Can I see them on you?
What do you think? I don't think they're me. I told you it would be impossible to find...
I hate to burst your bubble, but those pants look great on you. They fit you like a glove. Why are you frowning? We finally found something that looks great.
Now we have to find a top to go with it.
Lesson 9. I'm up to my eyeballs in work. Welcome to Lesson 9. I'm up to my eyeballs in work. In this lesson, you'll hear Brad, a college student, read over the letter he has just written to his parents. Listen to the letter and see if you understand all of the idioms that are used.
Dear Mom and Dad, how are you? It's the end of the semester and I'm really under the gun. I'm up to my eyeballs in work. The amount of reading my professors assign is ridiculous, and as you know, I thought I'd try my hand at a new sport and joined the university's rowing team this semester. With that decision, I may have bitten off more than I can chew. Between school, my job, and that, the only time I find to study is late at night. I'm burning the midnight oil 6 days out of 7. And even though I've really buckled down and begun to study, I'm still not finding the time to get everything done. What else? Oh, my old computer finally bit the dust. What a pain in the neck, right at the end of the semester. It really puts me between a rock and a hard place. I try to use the computers in the library, but it's only open until 11 p.m. I never make it there on time, so I have to ask my roommate if I can use his computer. But as you know, the guy's a bit odd. Personally, I don't think he's playing with a full deck. You know, I always say, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. But the favors he asks of me are usually outrageous, and he then gets mad if I don't agree to them. The other day, he asked to borrow my car for a 6-hour drive to visit his girlfriend for the day. When I said no, he blew up at me. And then that night, about an hour after I had turned in for the night, he got up, turned on his music, and started to do yoga. Anyway, money's not so good now that I have to save for a new computer. I don't want to cut corners and buy a cheap computer because I'd just have to replace it soon anyway. On a more positive note, I'm all about this rowing thing. I wanted to be on the competition team next semester, but thought I didn't have a prayer, since for most of the guys on that team, rowing is old hat. They've been at it since they were kids, and I'm still green. But Coach said yesterday that if I keep at it, I'm a shoo-in for a position on the competition team. That made my day. Well, that's all for now. I'll write again soon. Love, Brad.
Lesson 10. She's got you wrapped around her finger. Welcome to Lesson 10. She's got you wrapped around her finger. In this lesson, you'll hear two old friends talking. Frank and Alan are in their 60s and have known each other for many years. They both have grown children, and Frank recently became a grandfather. They meet one morning at the gym. Listen to the dialogue and see if you understand all of the idioms that they use.
Hey, Alan. Long time no see. How's it going?
Good. Just here getting the old ticker pumping. What about you?
Same old, same old.
Hey, I ran into your son Bobby the other day. Did he say Stacy's got one on the way?
Sure did. About 4 months along with their second. They had a little girl about a year and a half ago. Piece of work. I tell you, a chip off the old block.
You don't say. How do you mean?
Hard-headed, just like Bobby. And when she's up to something, she gets that same look in her eye Bobby used to get when he was a kid. It's really something else.
So she takes after her father, huh? That'll give him a taste of his own medicine. All those years causing trouble in the neighborhood.
Yep, time to pay the piper.
I remember when my kids were that age. You've really got to be on the ball. Can't turn your back for a minute before they're already up to something.
Yeah, don't keep up with them like I used to. 2 hours and I'm bushed. But I tell you, I'm having a blast being a grandfather. Not like with your own kids at all.
For sure. You get to be a pushover without any of the guilt.
Yeah, like the other morning, I was babysitting. Well, the girl got it in her head that she wanted ice cream at 9 a.m. She was set on it. At first I thought, no, Bobby'd have a fit. But then I thought, hey, it's not my kid. So I caved in and gave it to her. Ice cream for breakfast, can you believe it?
Yeah, it's easy to buckle when it's your grandkids and not your kids. Sounds like she's got you wrapped around her finger.
Yeah, I'm hooked when it comes to this grandfather business. Can't wait for the next one.
Lesson 11. That's putting the cart before the horse. Welcome to Lesson 11. That's putting the cart before the horse. In this lesson, Tobias sees his colleague Sandra by the water cooler and asks her about a meeting that he missed. Their water cooler conversation starts as a recap of a meeting, but it turns to speculation about their colleagues and company. Listen to their conversation and see if you understand all of the idioms that are used.
Hey, Sandra, could you fill me in on the meeting this morning? I couldn't make it. I got a bit bogged down with the budget forecasts.
Oh, sure. Well, Wilson officially announced that the Plainfield branch will be closing next month, and most of the people there will be transferred here.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that through the grapevine for a while. So they didn't give many people the boot?
None, actually. They offered early retirement to all of the people whose positions were being eliminated, and everyone leaped at the chance.
Gee, I guess it was win-win then.
Right. And of course, we're going to be taking on all of the accounts that were managed out of Plainfield.
Makes sense. So what's next for us?
You've probably heard about that big account they've been trying to win, Hanson Tech? Well, Wilson has a big project for us.
A big project already? What's that?
Wilson wants us to set up suppliers and shipping for Hanson. He wants to see a few different proposals by next week. We can get in touch with some of the people we already use, but...
Whoa, hold your horses. Suppliers and shipping for an account we haven't won yet? Isn't that putting the cart before the horse?
Probably, but I get the impression that this account has major potential, and a lot of people at corporate have their eye on Wilson. If anything goes south with it, it can't be his fault.
Ah, I get it. He's just covering his back.
Yep, you've hit the nail on the head.
But it still seems to me that this is all a bit premature. I don't want to have to be swamped for a week over something that might not even come through. Plus, I have a lot of work to do for our existing accounts.
Well, you could bring that up to Wilson, but I have the feeling that it would fall on deaf ears.
Plus, he'd probably just jump down my throat. He gets like that when he's feeling cornered.
Or you could just go over his head, make a few phone calls to corporate and...
Yeah, right. Don't hold your breath. I think I'd prefer to keep a low profile.
Not to mention keep your job.
Yeah, no pink slips for me, thank you very much. Well, I guess it's written in stone then.
What is?
The fact that we'll all be staying late and eating a lot of takeout over the next week.
Lesson 12. Like a bat out of hell. Welcome to Lesson 12. Like a bat out of hell. In this lesson, Joe Randall and Laurel Jessup are talking to a police officer about a car accident they were just in. Listen to their report of what happened and see if you understand all of the idioms in context.
So, I see we got a little fender bender here.
You can say that again.
Can you tell me what happened?
Well, We were coming out of the toll booths, and this guy comes barreling out behind Mrs. Jessup here. I noticed he had been riding her tail for miles.
Yeah, I have to admit I was rubbernecking a little at the other accident, the one that happened right in front of the toll booths.
And the other guy wasn't expecting it, or he didn't like it. He sped up to go around Mrs. Jessup, and then he tried to pull in front of her to cut her off. He ended up sideswiping Mrs. Jessup. And I guess he didn't see me coming up from behind because he swerved back into my lane. I must have been in his blind spot. I slammed on the brakes, but I ended up nailing him from behind anyway. Mrs. Jessup and I pulled over, and so did he at first. Then we got out of our cars to swap information, but the other guy was gone like a bat out of hell.
What about you, ma'am? Can you tell me what happened?
That seems to cover it. What he said is about right.
So you're both telling me this was a hit and run. Did either of you manage to get his license plate number?
I did. Here you go.
Well, lucky for you, Mr. Randall, because you might have been charged for damages to this guy's car. But because he took off from the scene of the accident, you won't be held responsible.
Well, that's a relief. I thought I was looking at a lawsuit.
If you give me a minute, I'll just radio this in so we can track him down.
When you get him, I won't have any problems giving him a piece of my mind.
And I won't lose any sleep over taking him to the cleaners for my car. It was brand new.
Well, I wouldn't count my chickens before they hatch, Mrs. Jessup. If you expect compensation, you might be barking up the wrong tree. In many of these cases, the perpetrators run because they're usually caught up in other illegal dealings or because they don't have insurance.
Fantastic. He could have totaled my car.
Well, at least no one is hurt. It could have been a lot worse. You two sit tight for a moment, and I'll have you right out of here and back on the road in no time.
Lesson 13. It's a steal. Welcome to Lesson 13. It's a steal. In this lesson, you'll hear Mr. and Mrs. York talk to their realtor about the possibility of purchasing a house they have been looking at for several weeks. Listen to the first part of the dialogue and see if you understand all of the idioms that are used.
So, Mr. and Mrs. York, you've seen the place 3 times now. What do you think? Are you in the market for such a wonderful house?
It really is lovely, but I think we'd like another week to mull it over.
Sure. But I will say, for what you're getting, the scenic location, the amenities, the place is truly a steal. You won't find a better deal. The value of this land is going up daily. In a couple of years, it'll go through the roof. If you decide to buy, what you'll pay now is a drop in the bucket compared to what you could eventually sell it for. You'll really clean up.
We'll keep that in mind. We just don't want to rush into anything. We want to take our time with this decision. We've been burned before.
I should mention, though, there are 2 other couples who are eyeing the place up. They'd like to see the place next week and are chomping at the bit to buy it. And because the buyer's market has never been better, you want to strike while the iron's hot.
Do you think we could have a couple of minutes to ourselves to talk things over?
Of course. I'll make myself scarce and wait for you outside.
From what I've seen, this place is a dream come true.
Yes, dear, but keep in mind, it's his job to talk the place up. It does seem perfect. Too perfect. I keep thinking, what's the catch?
So what aren't you happy with?
Nothing in particular. I guess I always get cold feet before any big decision.
I thought maybe you were hung up on the kitchen. I know how you like your space in the kitchen.
Oh, the kitchen is small, but that's not a problem. Besides, I'll have everything right at my fingertips, right?
So what is the problem?
It's just so much money. We could lose our shirts with this.
Let's not forget, dear, any time you make an investment, it's a crapshoot. But we should remember why we're doing this. We wanted to simplify our lives and to have a nest egg for retirement. And from what Martin tells us, even if we end up hating it here, if we move, we'll almost surely make money. If not for the house, then for the land.
You're right. And I do love that hot tub out back.
We'll make an offer then?
Let's find Martin and tell him it's a go.
Lesson 14. Off the beaten track. Welcome to Lesson 14. Off the beaten track. In this lesson, you'll listen in as Simon and Madeline arrive at a friend's house in the country for a weekend away. Listen to their conversation and see if you can understand all of the idioms that are used.
Simon, Madeline, welcome. It's great to see you guys.
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for inviting us. And sorry we're a bit late. Simon decided to take the scenic route.
Well, a captain is only as good as his navigator.
Uh-oh. Did I not give you decent directions? I know it's hard to find this place. It's a little bit off the beaten track.
Your directions were perfect, Jeff. We just got a little mixed up coming off the interstate. And, of course, it will be a cold day in hell before Simon here stops and asks for directions, even in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, but I told you I could wing it and find my way here.
And here you both are. Well, come on in and shake off the dust. You can freshen up and I'll whip up some of my famous guacamole and a drink or two. We can relax on the porch and catch up as the sun goes down.
Ah, a fiesta in the country. I can't wait. I can feel myself unwinding already.
I'll say. Now there's a way to end a long drive. Ah, what a great way to kick off our weekend in the country.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to some R&R for a long time. I've really needed to recharge the batteries.
Well, I'm glad to be able to offer you a weekend getaway for a break from the rat race. That's why I love being out here so much.
So, how is the big change working out for you? Have you felt much culture shock moving out to the sticks like this?
No, not at all. I grew up in the country, so in a way, this feels more like home to me than the city. In fact, sometimes I felt like a fish out of water in the city. Of course, there are things I miss, but all in all, I'm really happy to be out here in the boondocks.
So you're here full-time now, then?
Well, I still have a little place in the city, but this is where I hang my hat for now.
And how's the writing coming along?
It's great, now. At first, I was really afraid that it wasn't going to pan out, that I'd really made a terrible mistake leaving my job and moving here to write. I had a bad case of writer's block, but then I snapped out of it, and I've actually just finished my manuscript.
Hey, congratulations. Let's have a toast to that.
Yeah, cheers.
And what about the locals? Are you meeting nice people here?
Oh, sure. When I bought the place, I didn't know anyone, of course. I think I stuck out like a sore thumb, too, because everyone knows everyone around here. People always seem to be sizing me up, but giving me the cold shoulder at the same time.
And it must have been rough starting from square one when it came to a social life, too.
Yeah, that was not easy. No one reached out to me except to make small talk.
So, how did you break the ice? If I know you, you put on a big smile and had new friends lined up at your door in no time.
Actually, I had a secret weapon.
A secret weapon? What's that?
You're eating it.
The guacamole?
Hey, I told you it was famous. Around here, at least.
So, you just started handing complete strangers bowls of guacamole? Gee, you'd think that would raise a few eyebrows.
No, of course not. There was actually a good old-fashioned town picnic, so I brought as much of the stuff as I could make. As soon as people started tasting it, I had all sorts of welcomes and invitations to dinner.
So it's true that the fastest way to someone's heart is through their stomach.
And speaking of which, when's dinner?
Whenever we want. We're not on the clock here.
Great, because the sunset is gorgeous. I could sit here all weekend. No lights, no sirens, no honking horns. I could really get used to this.
Yep, this is the life.
Lesson 15. Turning over a new leaf. Welcome to Lesson 15. Turning over a new leaf. In this lesson, you'll hear a conversation between BJ and Keith. BJ is a dancer who has recently moved to New York. She meets Keith, who is sitting on a bench in a park. Listen to their conversation and see if you understand all of the idioms that are used.
Hi, excuse me. Could you tell me where the nearest subway stop is?
Yeah, 4 blocks that way and a block to the left. 14th and 1st Avenue.
Thanks. Do you mind if I take a load off? I've been walking forever.
No, go ahead. Are you new to the city?
Yeah, I just moved here 2 weeks ago.
What brings you to New York?
Well, in a nutshell, I guess I wanted to make a clean break. You know, start over.
I hear you. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf myself.
Really? What is it you do?
Well, actually, things are a bit up in the air at the moment. I was just fired from my job.
Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that.
No big deal, really. I wanted to leave that job ages ago. I kept putting it off out of laziness.
Wow, you lost your job? So what did you do?
I was working for a magazine. I wanted to be a writer when I got out of college. I took this job as the assistant to an editor, thinking it would be a foot in the door. I was wrong.
Do you mind me asking why you got fired?
I showed up for work late one too many times, I guess. Actually, they were already unhappy with me before. Showing up late was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
So what do you have in mind now?
I was thinking of going back to school or taking writing classes.
You know, I want to start taking some classes too. Right now I teach.
What do you teach?
Dance. Mostly salsa these days. But it's just to get on my feet until I get a break in performance.
I've always been interested in learning salsa, but I've never been sure I'd be good at it. You see, I have 2 left feet.
Oh, come on. I'm sure you're being hard on yourself. You should come by the studio sometime and check out our classes. The truth is, since I'm new, I don't have many students yet. The old students stick to the teachers they had before, so I have to find new ones.
Wow, dance classes. I've never considered that before. Why not? I might do that. In any case, I have nothing but free time now, right?
Here's my number at the studio. My name is BJ, by the way.
I'm Keith. Nice to meet you.
Likewise. Well, guess I better hit the road. Lots to do today.
Good luck. Hope it turns out well for you.
Nice talking to you. Give me a call. Maybe we can have coffee sometime.
Yeah, that would be great. I'll call you.
Cool. See ya.
Gee, I guess things are already looking up.
Lesson 16. Face the music. Welcome to Lesson 16, Face the Music. In this lesson, you'll listen to a conversation between Patrick and his parents. Patrick has just graduated from college but is still living at home with his parents. His parents have stayed up late waiting for him to get back after a night out with his friends.
We need to talk.
Can this wait? It's after 2. I'm tired.
You're hardly ever home, Patrick. We can't put this off any longer.
Fine. What?
We want to talk to you about your life.
Here it comes.
You need to be more responsible. You stay out too late. You're not taking your graduation very seriously.
Give me a break. I do have a job, you know.
Actually, you've had 3 different jobs in the last 6 weeks. You seem to brush them off like they're games. And you aren't putting away any of your money. You burn through it and live paycheck to paycheck.
Well, it's no skin off your nose. It's my money, right?
Yes, but you don't seem to be thinking at all about your future. We can't support you forever, you know. You've got to start to make your own way in the world soon.
Patrick, you're smart. You have to get a real job. If you'd like, I can help you get the ball rolling. I'd like to get you a job working at my company. It'll be a way to get your feet wet in business until you find something on your own.
It's like talking to a wall with you two. How many times do I have to tell you, I don't want to work in business. I'm going to be a writer.
Patrick, that's an admirable goal, but you can't go about it with your head in the clouds. You need to start somewhere concrete. But even before that, you need to earn a living somehow.
I've told you 1,000 times, I don't want to sell out and work for a corporation.
Who put this idea in your head anyway? Was it Marcy?
I knew it. That's what this is all about. Just because you don't get along with Marcy.
Patrick, it's true that we don't see eye to eye with you on girlfriends. But this is not about Marcy. This is about you taking charge of your life.
Wake up and smell the coffee, Patrick. Marcy hasn't set very high goals for herself in life, and if you—
Honey, we agreed we'd focus on the job situation first. Let's just—
Oh, I can't believe this.
Your mother just wants the best for you. But your relationship with Marcy is neither here nor there. The point is, you are 23 and haven't had a decent job since you graduated.
Must you constantly be on my case about this? Look, the way I see it, it's my life now, and I'm the only one who should have to worry about it. You two have to cut the cord.
Well, we're glad you think so, son, because your mother and I have decided it's about time you moved out.
What?
Time to face the music. It's sink or swim, Patrick. Welcome to the real world.
You're just cutting me off?
Oh, of course not, son. Your father is just being dramatic. But it really is time for you to face the real world. We're doing this because we love you. We'll be there to help if you need it.
Oh, okay. So does that mean I can drop my laundry off here for you, Mom?
Lesson 17. Let's catch a flick, then grab a bite. Welcome to Lesson 17. Let's catch a flick, then grab a bite. In this lesson, you'll hear Art and Logan, two friends from work, make plans to go out later that evening. Listen to the dialogue and see if you understand all of the idioms that are used.
Logan, there you are.
Hey, Art. Glad you caught me. I was just packing up shop.
I was almost out the door too. Then I remembered you wanted to get together this weekend. You still feel up to it?
I do, but you're not going to stand me up like you did last week, are you?
Are you still stewing over that? Cut me some slack, Logan. It wasn't my fault plans fell through at the last minute. There was an emergency.
You left me high and dry 10 minutes before the concert started.
Logan, I told you I had to pick up my niece from soccer practice. Her mom's car broke down. I said I was sorry. What else can I do?
So, you'd like to make it up to me?
Uh-oh.
I'll think about it and let you know. But in the meantime, I definitely need to let off some steam after this week. What a headache.
Same here.
Any ideas?
I don't know. Something low-key. I've been running around like a chicken with its head cut off all week.
How about catching a flick?
Okay, but we never see eye to eye on movies. What have you got in mind? No chick flicks, I hope.
Don't be such a sexist pig. You know, there is that new romantic comedy with...
Oh, I knew it.
Hey, you owe me.
Fine, then. Guess I'll just zone out for 2 hours.
No zoning out. I'm going to ask for a play-by-play when the movie's over.
You don't let a person off easy, do you?
Nope.
All right. So, how about grabbing a bite to eat before the movie? I'm starving.
Great. I'm so hungry I could eat a horse right now.
So, we'll meet in about an hour and a half?
Perfect. And that about evens the score.
What do you mean?
Dinner's on you.
Lesson 18. Take the bull by the horns. Welcome to Lesson 18. Take the bull by the horns. In this lesson, you will hear Brad encourage Stephen to go for a position that has opened up in their company. Listen for the idioms and see if you can understand all the ones they use.
Hey, Steven, so what's the word? Are you going to go for the sales director position? Have you talked to Bonnie yet?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm still mulling it over. I heard Larry say he was going for the job and that he was sure he was a shoo-in for the position. That kind of took the wind out of my sails. I don't know. What's your take on the situation?
Listen, Larry talks a big game but has nothing to back it up. Plus, he's a bit wet behind the ears when it comes to managing people.
Maybe, but I want to be sure that I'll get the position before I ask. I don't want anyone to get the idea I'm not content where I am and then be stuck here.
I hear you. People in the same boat have been canned before, or at least passed up for promotion later on.
Exactly. Thing is, I really need this new job. I'm earning peanuts now, and with the baby, I just can't seem to make ends meet. Plus, there are some things that need to be fixed on the house, and problems with the car that I've let sit on the back burner for ages. I just can't afford to do that anymore.
Well, if you ask me, you and that job, a match made in heaven. That job has your name on it. You'd be perfect for it. It wouldn't be like a new job at all. It'd be more like a promotion. And you've definitely got Bonnie where you want her. Jolie left, and they're hard-pressed to fill the slot quickly. And you've got all the qualifications. Go tell Bonnie that you want that job.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I've got all my ducks in a row before I step into her office.
What ducks? You need more money. You'd be good at the job. All you've got to do is step up to the plate.
Well, there's also the issue of my family life. I already have my fingers in too many pies. I worry that I won't be able to take on more responsibility. It will mean more to take home at night.
Okay.
And I don't want to jump the gun. I mean, there's always a good and a bad time to do these things, and that position won't actually be open for another 3 months.
Listen, there's no time like the present. You know what your obstacle in this is? You're not assertive enough. They need someone. Just take the bull by the horns, march in there, and present yourself for the position.
Do you really think so?
Absolutely. Put your best foot forward. Remember, bull, horns. Go for it.
Lesson 19. Just checking in. Welcome to Lesson 19. Just checking in. In this lesson, you'll listen in on a phone call that Maya makes to her family. Her father answers the phone. Listen to the dialogue and see if you understand all of the idioms that are used.
Hello?
Hey, Dad, how are ya?
Maya, glad you called.
Just checking in. How are things going?
Well, to tell the truth, we're having a rough time of it.
What's happening?
Well, your mother's feeling a bit under the weather.
Oh, no.
Don't worry. She's caught a bug is all.
I hope she gets over it soon.
Seems like a 24-hour thing. She'll be back on her feet in a day or so, I think.
That's good. I'm sorry I haven't called in a few weeks. I was so far behind in my schoolwork, it took me some time to get up to speed for my midterms. What's been going on at home?
Your mother and I were planning on calling you today to give you some bad news.
What happened?
Your great-uncle Bill just passed away.
You're kidding. I talked to him only 2 weeks ago. He seemed fine.
Yeah, we were sure he'd pull through, but he got an infection and his health took a nosedive. He went downhill fast.
This is terrible.
It caught everyone off guard. Your Aunt Helen said one day he was fine, the next day he was gone.
I can't believe this. And how is Aunt Helen taking it?
You know your aunt. She's hanging in there. But she's up to her neck in bills.
I can imagine, what with the funeral and all.
Not just that. Hospitals, doctors, medication. It costs a pretty penny these days. But your aunt says it was worth every dime. She said the folks at the hospital bent over backwards to make them feel comfortable and at home. And Uncle Bill didn't suffer very much. He was smiling right up to the end.
Is there anything I can do?
You might want to call your cousin. It seems this is taking a big toll on Jackie. Your aunt says she's not eating and won't talk to anyone.
You think she'll talk to me if I call?
It's worth a shot.
All right. Is there anything else?
Yes, we'll be paying our respects this Friday. Do you think you can catch a flight home?
I don't have Friday classes, and I'll take off from work. I'll be there in the morning.
Okay. Give me a call with the details and I'll come and pick you up at the airport.
Okay, I will. Bye, Dad.
Lesson 20. Just go with the flow. Welcome to Lesson 20. Just go with the flow. In this lesson, you'll listen to Marcus and Mina who are about to go skiing. Marcus has never been skiing before. Listen to Mina as she tries to teach Marcus the basics. See if you understand all of the idioms that are used.
I can't even stand up on these things.
Relax. Don't try so hard.
You know what? I must have a screw loose. I can't ski. I've never been one to do anything athletic. I'm just gonna throw in the towel now.
Just keep your shirt on. You haven't even tried yet. Don't be such a stick in the mud. Here, take my hand. Good. Now, first thing you want to do is bend your knees.
Like this?
Yeah. Now lean back. All right, good. Doing great. Now, pretend your knees are like springs. When you hit a bump,
There are bumps? I thought we were on the bunny trail.
we are. But yeah, there might be a couple of small ones.
Well, what do I do then?
Just go with the flow. Pretend your knees are springs. Let them bend with the curve of the terrain. Don't be stiff.
Sure, whatever.
Same goes if you fall.
There's falling involved?
You're bound to fall. You're just learning. Anyway, worst thing is if you're stiff when you fall. You'll really do a number on yourself if your body's tense when you hit the ground.
Hey, look at that kid. She's not using any poles.
Yeah, actually, it's more about balance and your knees. Poles help balance, of course, but when you're learning, they can be a distraction. Maybe you should...
No way. I'm keeping the poles. They're my security blanket.
All right, whatever. Now to stop, make your skis into a wedge shape and just let yourself slowly come to a stop. Let's give it a whirl. Drift towards me and...
Here I come.
Wedge!
Whoa!
That was great! You're really batting 1,000.
I can't believe I just did that. I'm actually taking to this skiing stuff.
Like a duck to water.
Would you say that I'm poetry in motion?
Well, maybe not quite yet, but soon enough. So, ready to get this show on the road?
Don't I need more practice?
This will be your practice. Let's go up to the top.
Yikes! From the top, this hill looks a lot steeper than I thought.
They always do. You just have to see your path down and make up your mind to follow it. Listen, don't worry. You have the basics. It's all downhill from here. Literally.
Very funny.
Best thing about a day on the slopes is the evening. Tonight you're going to sleep like a log, my friend. Here we go.
Mina, if I buy the farm on the way down, I think you should know. You've always been my closest friend.
Right. Now get going.
I can't move. My legs won't let me. Hey, what are you doing?
You'll be here all day if I let you. I'm just giving you a little bit of a jump start.
You wouldn't. You'd really push your best friend down a ski slope?
See you at the bottom.
Whoa!